Hallo, Profist, Jung und Alt und Willkommen. I didn't translate the rest of that. Hello!
Why did you do it in German?
I don't know.
I leave for all of, what, a few weeks, and I come back and the channel's in German. Why is it in German?
I wanted to do something a little bit different. It's the end of the decade, you know, I wanted to mix it up a little bit.
And you decided to celebrate it by being German?
Do you have any better ideas?
I mean, we could do a, I don't know, Top Games of the Decade award.
Oh yeah, that'd be a much better idea.
Yeah. Das ist gut.
Hello, professionals, young and old, male and female, everything in between, except for the politicians, because fuck you, politicians. Welcome to the Totally Professional Gaming Awards of the decade. And
Hi.
now for your and now to welcome your hosts, me and Phill, because of course nobody else runs this channel. Hi. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I think people have realised that by now. We're not quite Ant and Dec, are we? We don't know how to host an award show.
We're Bant and Spec.
That's true. What? Oh, very good. There was also, as you may know, a small audience, and by that I mean a small person in the audience.
There he is.
He laughed perfectly on cue. Hello, small child. Are you okay? Complete silence. Doesn't give a damn. Only talks when we don't want him to.
Exactly. Perfect.
Like his
So,
dad.
Don't talk, Rory. Don't talk.
I thought you were going to say "Don't talk, Haley" then, because he appeared.
Oh my
she
God, he
appeared
did
in the
it.
background, and there it is again.
Right. Okay.
This award is off. These awards are off to a great start. Welcome everybody, and welcome to the Totally Professional Gaming Awards of the decade. We wanted to do something a little bit different because in the tradition that every December we do a sort of end of year video rounding up the year in some way or another. Last year, obviously, it was the best games. Year before that, it was our favourite videos. So this year, we're doing a retrospective of the decade. We've got a few awards to go through for the decade, and then we're also going to talk about our favourite games from every single year of the decade. So, let us waste no more time, and let's go for it. But before we do, I just want to say, what a mental year this has been. It's been a crazy year, 2019.
It's been insane. It's been absolutely insane in every way.
Yes, especially for you, because obviously the giggling audience member that is appearing in this video presently came from you. That's
I mean, that's a
you.
weird way to put it. It wasn't just me.
Well, yeah, obviously there was another party involved in the creation of set.
There was no party involved.
No, we knew you were having a party afterwards.
I mean, I don't know.
This
is awkward.
Anyway,
let's move on.
See,
Let's
Rory
move
found it
on.
funny.
We do have a few house rules. I say a few house rules. We have obviously we split the awards into two sections. We've got our sort of thank you. Our special awards. So these will be themed awards, and we have our games of the year. Now, a game cannot win more than one of the special awards. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you can have obviously one. Obviously, you're not going to have it winning more than one Best Game of the Year award because it can only come out in 1 year. But you can only have one game in. What am I saying? You can only have a game once per section. So
yes.
That's how that goes. And the other rule is it is only one game for each year. You can't be jammy. I'm sorry. You can have an honourable mention. I let honourable mentions.
Yes,
but because
yeah.
I had to have an internal fight with myself over a certain year, and I'm pretty sure you just told me you had the same problem in the same year.
God, yes.
Yeah, so there will be honourable mentions. But it is just one game per year, and yeah. Without further ado, shall we go to the first category?
Indeed. So the first award for the Totally Professional Gaming Awards of the decade is the Most Contagious Award. So this is the award for the game that took the decade by storm and was like the most talked about game of the decade. Now, me and Phil should have mentioned this previously. Me and Phil will have a game each for each of these awards, and we can talk about each of those games, why we think about that, yada yada yada. It'll be a lovely discussion. I don't know why I said it like that.
That was a bit weird.
It was a
but
bit
this
weird.
video's all... You started in German. There's no way it can go any weirder.
So, Phil, would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first on the Most Contagious
I don't
award?
know. I don't know. You can go first. You go first.
Okay.
That'll be fine.
So my game rather, the game I have chosen for the Most Contagious Award is Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go is probably the most, I believe, the most talked about game in the world. There are still people playing that game on the regular, still people going out to do raids and going and capturing Pokemon together as a group. And remember, this game came out in 2016. 2016 was the year this game came out, and it just exploded. Everybody was talking about this game, everybody was going nuts about this game, and that is why it won my award for the Most Contagious.
Interesting. Okay. And my most contagious game of the decade is... It's Pokemon Go.
It's Pokemon Go as well.
It's Pokemon Go. I mean, ditto. Copy paste. Copy and paste. Can you genuinely... I mean, Rory didn't like that. Can you copy and paste your response right now? Just play your response again, because everything you said. Go. Pokemon Go, in fact.
Well, I'm lazy with editing, so if you want to hear the reason why this award was selected, go to this timestamp. This one right here. Slightly easier in editing. So,
Okay.
now it is time to move on to the second award. The second award is the Best Remake Award. This is a game that goes to a game that was remade from the ground up. So we're not talking about remasters here, like obviously games like Final Fantasy VIII have been remastered, Final Fantasy VII has been reported and ported and ported and ported all over again. But obviously the remake's
And
coming out
all
next
the
year.
Kingdom Hearts games were brought up from PS2 to PS4 before they
Yes.
released the new one.
So this is the game that was built from the ground up. So Phil, I think this time you should go first, my man.
Okie dokie, and my best remaster of the decade is, and it will be no surprise for anyone who follows this channel, it is Spyro the Reignited Trilogy, or Spyro the Trilogy, whatever I said last year to try and get it as all
Spyro
10 of
the
my
Trilogy.
top 10 games.
Was it Spyro the Trilogy La Lumiere or something like that?
Something like that, something to do with the Beauty and the Beast. Anyway... I could not have asked for a more perfect remake of this game. I adore it in every single way. And you know what? I've been sitting here recently going, I should play that again. And I haven't had that with a game in years. I haven't had it where I've got, a year after finishing it and going, you know what? Just want to play it again. So that is my best remaster of the decade.
Fantastic. So, for my choice, and again, if anybody has watched the channel, it will be no surprise to them as well. My award for best remake goes to the Resident Evil 2 remake. Holy fucking moly. This game was just so good. I played the original Resident Evil 2, like, when I was I think I played it when I was like 8. Stupid decision, I know, but you know, whatever. And I remember loving the way it was. Hasn't aged well. Obviously, my favorite Resident Evil game is Resident Evil 4. So what they did was they took everything that made Resident Evil 4 great, slapped it on Resident Evil 2, and went, alrighty, let's do that. And I can't get enough of it. It's fucking great. It's one of those games that I kind of slightly regret starting a Let's Play of on the channel, just because I realise that every time now that I want to play it, I need to record it. And it's so good. It's so good, and I can't explain how much I love the Resident Evil 2 remake. Thank you, Capcom, so much. And now with the Resident Evil 3 make, 3 make? Yeah, we'll go with
3 make? Oh my goodness, you've
remake.
coined a new term. That's incredible. This is a 3 make. Is that when it's remade for a third time? Is it like in 5 years when they go, let's do the Spyro Reignited trilogy reignited?
Again.
Let's build it all again, but this time from the ground up in VR with
oh my god.
With I don't know what?
Hopes and prayers coming through.
With blackjack and hookers. I'm gonna make my own Spyro Reignited trilogy with blackjack and hookers.
The next award goes to the best party game. This is the game that is best for local parties. Parties at home, parties with friends, parties with family, parties with dogs, whatever you're into. Don't know how a dog could hold a controller, but you know, whatever. Well,
they can hold cards.
Blackjack and hookers.
That's the remaster. That's the remaster of that picture. It's just dogs holding controllers.
So, I believe it's my turn to go first. So we're gonna go for. I couldn't narrow it down to one game, but I have narrowed it down to one series.
Okay.
And it was again kind of a toss-up between two different series. The reason why this one has made it on the list is because my favourites of the other series were released before this decade started.
Oh, I see.
But this series is still incredible. It's the Jackbox Party Packs. How much fun I have with the Jackbox series is... It's immeasurable. I love the creativity that has come from the Jackbox games. I've got pretty much all the Jackbox games now on PS4. I've played it with friends, I've played it with my mum, and everybody has had a great laugh with it. It's so much fun, and it's one of those games that's mega accessible for everybody. Like, everybody has a phone nowadays. Everybody can log on and go, okay, let's key in something offensive for this phrase. Cool. Everybody has fun. That's all I need to say. So, Phil, what is your choice?
I mean, it's the Jackbox Party Pack. I mean, it just is. Stop stealing my answers.
I'm not.
Every time you go first, you say something that's on my list.
The problem is, I think this is what happens when we play games together for so long. Like, and we're so similar in the style of games that we enjoy. I think the only place that we differ is that you like shooty games, and I'm not really a massive fan of them. But yeah, Jackbox is great. Jackbox is great.
Jackbox rules.
Yeah.
Jackbox. Hang on, can I do that again?
No, I'm keeping that one. That's staying in. That's staying
Jackbox. Very good. Okay, whatever. Now we move on to the Ow My Brain Award for the game that messed with your head the most. And we're going to have to do it again. Yes, please.
The Ow My Brain Award. Ah!
moving on from that sudden and inevitable disruption, we move on to the Ow My Brain Award for the game that messed with your head the most. And this took a lot of thinking for me, and then I eventually had to cast my mind back to a little game called Antechamber. Now, Antechamber was one of these rare things that I'd watched. It'd come up on a YouTube channel I followed, and the first thing that was said was, if you want to play this game, don't watch this video. Now, for me, that was just too tempting. It was too tempting to know that there was a game out there that someone was recommending so much that I shouldn't watch their content. Do you know how insane an idea that is these days? When every, Tom, Dick and PewDiePie is streaming a game as it comes out, and even like the biggest surprises of movies are told, for someone to say, yeah, you need to go play this, was very different, and my God, it was good. It just... it's one of those games that messed with my brain so much that I couldn't tell you everything it did. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get that.
I came out of it going, wow, that was a good game. That's it. That's my review.
Fantastic. So my input for the Ow My Brain Award. I don't really play many Ow My Brain styles of games. I will admit that straight off the bat. I'm not a big sort of like puzzle game fan and things like that. There are a few I've played, obviously things like Portal but there was a game that messed with my head in the best way. Because everything that you did in this game, the game had a response for. And it's almost like it knew what you were going to do before you did it. And that game is the Stanley Parable.
That was my... This is the first one that I actually couldn't choose between two and had to really think about, and the Stanley Parable was the other one, so I'm glad one of us said it.
This game was one of those ones that... It had a very similar thing with you in Antechamber. You sent me a link to the game on Steam when we were, like, playing Steam games, like, every day, near enough. And you went, don't ask, download it, play it, tell me what you think afterwards. And I was like, okay. And then I played it. I played it through 3 times on the first day I bought it. And every single time I played it, I came up to the end of it and went, how the fuck did... Wait, no, that... Why did it... What... Which is... Like... That is something that hasn't happened in a game for me before. Like, it was such an amazing feeling, and it's one that I never ever will forget. The Stanley Parable is a must-play. If you haven't played the Stanley Parable, go and play it. And also,
Right. Go on.
Don't always ignore the voice. That's all I'll say. Don't always ignore the voice.
I'll tell you what, as a Stanley Parable fan, and for other Stanley Parable fans, I have to just have a quick discussion, because my favourite ending was the broom closet ending.
Yeah. And... say no more. Just say no more.
Say no more. Leave it there.
Exactly
they can
what
go
you
and find
mean.
it themselves.
Yeah, just pick up the Stanley Parable and remember the broom closet. You'll figure the rest out yourself. The next award is another... We've done a lot of happy awards. This is a lot of happy awards. So we're going to keep that train going. And speaking of trains, this is the Matching the Hype Train Award. This is the game that had the biggest amount of hype around it and met those expectations. And my award, my game, I keep saying my award rather than my game. Professional. My game for this award is the 2019 Spider-Man. 2018 Spider-Man. Sorry, I forgot it was last year that came out. Because I still play it. I still play Spider-Man to this day. Because it's fucking great. I was... In the Spider-Man series, they made Spider-Man 2, then a lot of Spider-Man's like spider trash, spider tats, spider bollocks, whatever you want to call it, leading up to the release of the 2018 Spider-Man. Sony's, Insomniac's, Marvel's, Stan Lee's Spider-Man. I went into that game with very high expectations. I finished the game, and I went, I'm never going to forget that. That was fucking great. The story, the combat, the web swinging, everything about it was just perfect. It was everything that we had been asking for a Spider-Man game since the release of Spider-Man 2. And I cannot... Oh, Insomniac, I love you so much. Now, I hear that they're making potentially an Iron Man game with Insomniac, maybe? And if they are, then I'm okay with that. But yes, Phill, what is your choice for this award?
I had to think long and hard about mine, and then because there's a lot of games that you get hype trains on.
Of course.
And then I was going through one of the years, and I went, oh my god, it can't be anything else for me, because at the time that this game was coming out, I wasn't much of a fan. Does that make sense? But I got swept up in it, and it's still one of the best games I've ever played, and it's a regular, it's a game I regularly go back to, which means my Matching the Hype Train award for a game that actually matched the hype goes to Grand Theft Auto 5.
Ah, I should have guessed. I should have known. Should have known that.
Because, I'll be honest with you, I still haven't finished the story. I honestly haven't.
Yeah, you really
But for a
should.
game to come out years ago and still be one of my favourite games, that's incredible. I mean, I remember people who were much bigger fans, I mean, including you. I really only ever played it round your house before then.
Yeah.
But for this game to come out and just smash everything, even though people had already set the ceiling really high, was just incredible. And it's kind of where we started, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the reason we are going. I mean, a stupid Christmas video, and then a load of running each other over with cars and stupid music over the top.
Yep. That is literally how the channel came about.
That's genuinely it. So it's simply Grand Theft Auto 5.
I like it.
Okay. And while we're on this train, let's award our first sort of negative award of the evening, day, morning, wherever you're watching this video.
3
Let's
PM.
go for the Crashing the Hype Train award. For the game that built up so much hype and then just went, yeah, smash kaboom, da da da.
Yep.
Now, there's a fair few nominees for this, I would say, but I've used my personal experience, and also I'm boring myself apparently because Right, let's go back. There's a lot of nominees for this award, but I'm just using my my personal experience with this, and yeah, so my my Crashing the Hype Train award for a game that did the worst compared to their hype was Star Wars Battlefront. The first one. I mean, let me explain this. When the first one was announced, I went, "Oh, this is going to be fun. This will be Battlefront 2, but better and better looking." And I didn't even mind that it was multiplayer, because I used to play the old one just regularly, split screen. But then the split screen was just It was just the little missions, wasn't it?
Yep.
And it just crashed it. And then there was some hope after that one that Star Wars Battlefront 2 might do well, and it just didn't. It was an EA riddled pile of mess, and it just crashed it. Now, I have to say one thing. There is a reason I've said Star Wars Battlefront and not Battlefront and Battlefront 2, because Battlefront 2, as of the year it was released, Josh, please put that number on the screen for me, because I can't remember. I yawned at that. It's because recently it has had an overhaul. They've worked on it. They've continued with it. EA seem to have left it and gone, we don't want this anymore, and just left everyone else to deal with it. And apparently it's quite good now. But I still can't bring myself to play it again. The only reason I think that I was so hyped was because the originals were so good. And to take something beloved like that and just crash it into the floor is awful. It would be like if, you know, when they did the Crash remaster, but I'm not going to go for Spyro because they'd already done the Crash one and Spyro, therefore everyone was sort of pretty happy that it was going to be a safe bet. When they did Crash remaster, if they'd done the Crash remaster and the game was actually, you know, it was 2D polygons and I don't know, the only gameplay aspect was smashing Crash's face into the ground with microtransactions, then maybe that would have, you know, that would have been worse. But I'm just babbling because I'm trying to find a way to redeem it, but I don't think I can. So that's mine.
Well, the good thing is that obviously Jedi Fallen Order has come out with pretty heftily positive reviews. So maybe that'll be a step in the right direction. And there's a baby again.
There isn't a baby again, yeah.
But maybe that'll be the redemption of Star Wars in the video game industry. We can only hope. And if it isn't, then at least we still have Battlefront 2 on PC, and we can play on Hoth.
That's true. I found it on my Steam account the other day.
I just recently updated it. Just because they put out a new update, and I haven't updated it in a while, so spent yesterday after repairing my PC. Anyway, getting off topic. So my choice for this game was, again, it's another personal choice. It's a game that I was really, really hyped up for and was hoping it was going to be different and turned out to not be. And the Crash in the Hype Train award for me goes to Watch Dogs. There was so much potential for this game to do something different. And it just didn't. It just didn't. It became like, when I played it for the first time and I played that first mission, I was like, yes, this is it. This is going to be incredible. I'm so psyched for this. And then I played the first mission, and then I kept playing, and it was bumbly grumbly. I must avenge my dead daughter figure person. And I'm so lonely with a bandana across my face and a hat over my head. But I'm also going to be... I'm a good guy, but I'm also going to randomly set off the traffic lights to cause cars to crash into each other. I'm a good lie. Lol, 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 lol. It just... It was such... It was one of those games that could have had a really interesting dynamic and a really good perspective on those kind of tonal shifts. I think Watch Dogs 2 did a much better job with that. I really, really enjoyed Watch Dogs 2. Watch Dogs 1, not so much. And I think that with the hype it had, Ubisoft just didn't deliver. And that's really disappointing, because Ubisoft have always had the potential to make really fucking great games. And they have made really great games. But just recently it's been so, like, over the last few years, there's just been so much of the same tropey bollocks coming out, and I can't fucking deal with it anymore. I hate it. Ugh.
Fair enough.
Anyways, back to the positives, and we're going to bring in the opinions of some special guests. This is the Our Partners Loved This award. This is the award for the game that Haley and Katie enjoyed from the decade the most. Now, Katie's going to watch back on this video, and she's probably going to complain, because she did complain when I was talking to her about this. She was like, why do we only get one game when you guys are choosing one for each year of the decade? And I said, because this is a channel that I run, fuck you. Basically, that's how the conversation went. I'm just kidding. I love her very much. She's great. But I said to her if she wanted to do her own award, she was more than welcome to. So look out for TPK in the future. Don't actually, because it's not going to happen. Anyway, but we narrowed it down to one choice, and Katie's choice was Super Mario Odyssey. I played a fair chunk of Mario Odyssey myself. Very much enjoyed it. Thought it was great. I think I can agree that this would probably be Katie's game of the year, because this is the game that made me lose my Switch for about a month. Probably longer, actually, now that I'm thinking back on it. Every single time I'd come home from work, she was there, playing Mario Odyssey, having the time of her life, and I'd just be like, okay, cool. And this only really changed when I bought Smash Brothers, because then I was like, okay, Switch is mine again, goodbye. But she absolutely loved it. She's gotten most of the moons. She's played a hell of a lot of it. Her playtime on that game has now exceeded mine. That's how much she enjoyed this game, because I play games a lot, but her time on Mario Odyssey has now exceeded the amount of time that I spent. So yeah, that is Katie's choice. So Phil, what was Haley's choice for game of the game of the decade?
Well, Haley's choice for game of the decade was it was Horizon Zero Dawn, which I don't think will shock you.
No, not even a little bit.
She was very hyped for this, honestly, when it was announced, because robots and sci-fi and dinosaurs is Haley's thing.
Yeah.
And it was announced, and she bought a PS4 Pro for it. Like, we have a PS4 Pro because of it. I already had one. But that's it. She loved it. She's absolutely adored the game. She's finished it. I bought her all the DLC. I've sat regularly and watched her try and find everything. But yeah, that's it. And she keeps bothering me to try and play it. And I'm like, there's a list. There's a list of games that I need to play, and I haven't. And that is just one of many games. But I can't say anything more than that. It is Horizon Zero Dawn.
Can I just say, I reckon a good 60% of that list is games that I'm telling you to play.
Yeah, probably.
So, now it is time for the Crystal Meth Award. This is for the game that no matter how many different games we try, we always come back to this. Phil, would you like to tell me what your award, or what your game you're giving this award to? I really stumbled over that.
You did? Do you want to do it again?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, this was a difficult one. For a while, I actually had a different game in there. In fact, I had a game series originally, and I'll in secret, the honourable mention for me in this category would be the Call of Duty franchise, because I love Call of Duty, despite the fact that I know they're not, that they're not great. They're not the best games in the world. I will regularly buy Call of Duty. I mean, I haven't bought an Infinity Ward one in years, and that might be about to change because Modern Warfare looks so good, and I can't help it. But the point is, I can stop myself buying them. However, the game that I think I have bought the most over the most platforms and have played since its release, about 8 years ago, is Minecraft. I mean, Haley and I even started playing Minecraft again a few months ago, and it's just still so easy to pick up, and you end up doing things like I just wanted to build a wall, and I know there's some sort of connotations with building a wall these days, but I was just trying to build a wall to keep us safe, and then I was there counting up how many blocks I'd need and how many blocks I'd need to make those blocks, and in the end I was doing maths, and I'd had a farm, and I had a house and mechanics, and we were off fighting things, and I was like, oh, what's this? Oh, there's a phantom. What's a phantom? Is it even called a phantom? What's it? Why are there llamas? Who's this man? Has he got things to trade? What is going on? Where's my wall? Oh yeah, I haven't started it yet. And that's what happens every time, but I still go back. And I will go back. I have it on about 5 or 6 platforms. That's insane. Why do I have it on 5 or 6 platforms? I'll tell you why. Because I can't stop. And that's my Crystal Meth Award for the game I keep going back to.
Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. Minecraft is fantastic, but not my choice for this game. Now, originally, when I first started thinking, okay, what game would officially slot in this list? And for the game I own on the most platforms, it would be Final Fantasy VII, because I genuinely have bought that game, I think, in total 9 times.
Crikey.
which is mental. It's one of my favourite games of all time. But obviously I can't award that game because that game originally came out in 1997. So kind of a little bit late. Little bit late. It's not quite in this decade. Just out by a teeny tiny margin. However, the game that I keep going back to, no matter what happens, and every single time I go back to it, for a multitude of reasons. It could be just because I fancy something a bit simpler. It could be just because I want to have a bit of fun. And it's a game that I go back to as well if I need a video idea. It seems to stir my creative ideas. And that game is Grand Theft Auto 5. Regardless of how much time I spend away from this game, it's got to be my most played game, or near enough my most played game of all time. Whenever we want to just film something ridiculous or stupid or crazy or get something done that's just a little bit goofy, we go to GTA 5. If we want to shoot each other for a little bit, we'll go to GTA 5. GTA 5 is fucking magnificent. It is a game with so much in it. The possibilities are pretty much endless. You want to go and make a race that's... You've got to balance on like tiny little beams to get across and then do a mega bunny hop from one building to another. You can do that, and I love that about this game. I think it's fucking great. And I don't think like every now and again I'll go through my games list and I'll go, okay, what can I remove, what can I delete? Sometimes if it's a physical game, what can I sell? GTA never even crosses my mind as one of the games that I'm going to get rid of. Never ever has it crossed my mind.
Fair enough.
So, next award, we've got 4 more awards before we get into the best games of each year. This award is the Best Games Company of the Decade. This is the award that goes to the games company that's been pushing out the best games, in our opinion, for this decade. I believe since I went second last time, I believe it's my turn to go first. And I'm not even going to do like a drum roll or anything like that. It's going to be of no surprise to anybody. Of course, it's Square Enix. Square Enix have made so many of my favourite games. Octopath Traveler, Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, Dissidia. So many games have been made by this company that are just fucking magnificent. I don't know how they do it. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me that they can just keep cracking out so many amazing games. And, like, people get on their back about certain games that either don't make sense or are a little bit nonsensical. They're so few and far... Well, the ones that are nonsensical and a bit rubbish, they're so few and far between. Final Fantasy 12. No, actually, 12 was okay. It was 13 that was shit. Not even gonna cough over that. 13 was awful. But you think of all the games that Square Enix have made, and this decade they've smashed out some absolutely phenomenal games. One of my now favorite games of all time, Octopath Traveler, just came out of nowhere. They made no buzz about this game. They just were like, oh. I can imagine the conversation at Square Enix just being like, we haven't made a new IP in a while. Anybody got any ideas? Well, yeah, I've got this. Alright, cool, let's make that. And then it just happened. And I think the biggest thing for me as well is I don't ever turn on the news or gaming news and things like that and see anything controversial about Square Enix. It's normally just, like, the most controversial they get is, this game's been delayed again. And it's like, okay, cool, no worries. And sometimes I'd prefer that, because it means that sometimes if a game's delayed by a little bit, we don't get a game that needs a day one patch and isn't shit. So, kudos to you, Square Enix. I love you very, very much. If you would like to sponsor me for any reason, I will sell you any bodily parts that I own.
Bodily parts that you own? Like not just parts of your body. It sounds a bit weird, doesn't it?
Yeah. Now that I've said it out loud, I'd cut off somebody's hand if Square Enix told me to. They basically own my soul. I think Square Enix is the company that I've given the most money to, maybe slightly second to Sony.
Yeah. Mine's probably Lego. Anyway, my best games company. It's me. Right, anyway. My best games company of the decade. Now, I have done this on averages, technically. I have looked at the good and the bad games, and I have evened them out and gone, which company has provided the best quality, the best decent level of quality over the last decade? And then I went, well, actually, there's one games company that's only released a few games, and I love them all.
Ooh.
And it's Rocksteady.
Oh.
I mean, the Arkham series is incredible. Have you played it? It's just the best. I love them. I really do. They're just so beautiful. I mean, the first one, my favourite one, Arkham Asylum, was before the decade, so I can't really count that. But the other two they're just brilliant follow-ups. And I know there was a little bit of controversy with Arkham Knight on PC not working. And do you know how I know that? Because I was one of the arseholes that pre-ordered it. I had it on disc. I had it on a CD. There were 8 CDs that I had to put into my computer one after the other. That was the point. And it ran like shit. But I kept playing until my computer just went no, and then I bought it on PS4 and it was better and it was so good. So that's Rocksteady.
Fair enough, a good choice, a very, very good choice.
Right then, now we move on to the oh yeah, I forgot that game was a thing of the decade for the game that sort of just faded into obliviousness. You know, the game that was coming and everyone went, oh, that looks good, and then it just went. Yeah. And my choice for this game was Evolve. Do you remember Evolve?
Shit, I genuinely forgot that game was a thing.
It was that everyone was like, oh my god, this is great. You get to be monsters and it's asymmetrical. You've got 4 people against these monsters and there's all these choices and things, and it's like Thanos snapped halfway through its release, and everyone's just forgotten. It's just gone. I mean, what happened? It had so much potential, and then it was just. It's free to play now. It's free to play.
It is.
It's stage 2. I'd like to know how many people are playing it, to be honest. I mean, I know there'll be hardcore fans out there, because there's hardcore fans for everything. Yeah. Except perhaps us. And
Blues did.
But yeah, that's fair. But it's just gone, hasn't it? It's not coming back.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, can't even argue with that. I mean, I genuinely forgot that Evolve was a thing. But to be honest with you, I think my choice for the game is going to be even more of a holy shit, I forgot this game was a thing. This is one that came out in a little bit of a boom period, and that boom period was the Toys to Life period. Um, I was caught between the two Toys to Life games that sort of had the most appearance at the time. But one went on to still have like a slight presence because they made like a trading card game and stuff like that, so it had like a slight presence. But one had a very, very slow start, went even slower in its like reimaginings and the next few games that it put out, and that was Disney Infinity. The Disney Infinity games had, again, a lot of potential. The idea of the Toys to Life functionality was good. I thought it was quite an interesting feature. And then it just died. It died a death. And nobody like you ask people about Disney Infinity now and people are like, what the fuck is that? And I was genuinely scrolling through like the games listings and I forgot they made 3 versions of Disney Infinity. I had forgotten that they even made 2. They made 3. And none of them were that popular. Like there was the initial boom of people enjoying having like the figurines and stuff like that. I know that Phill, you had some of the figurines. I think you still do.
I've still got them all, and I've got all 3 games.
Yeah.
I love them. I love them so much.
But that's the thing. Nobody, even you could admit that there was no real hype for it. Nobody really remembered it. And I remember, like, because I worked for a certain company that sold video games. Can't say which one, probably, but either way, we had the launch. I was there for the launch for Disney Infinity 2 and Disney Infinity 3, and it was dead. There was nobody that cared. And even when I went across to, like, we emailed across to some of the other guys and was like, how's your launch going? And they were like, it's dead. It's dead. Like, FIFA is more, like, FIFA was a more alive crowd than fucking Disney Infinity. And as sad as that makes me, I'm not really surprised. But, yeah. So there's that. Sorry to upset you.
It's alright.
So we have 2 more of our special awards, and then we move on to the best games of each year of the decade. So, the first award is the Why the hell have you not played this yet? Award. This is for the game that myself and Phill continuously nag the other to say, why the hell have you not played this game yet? And
that's exactly how he says it as well.
So, so there is a myriad of games that I could have given this award to. There's a lot. There's a lot. The game that I originally wanted to give this award to, which is the game that I genuinely think is the one that I'm most aggravated that you haven't played yet, is Shadow of the Colossus. I thought I could kind of get away with it because of the remaster, but kind of don't want to cheat the system with this one. So I'm going to give this award to a game that's become very recent to my heart over the last year or two. And that game's Persona 5. Why the hell have you not played Persona 5 yet? It's fucking amazing. It is one of the best JRPGs of all time. It's so freaking good. Like, Persona 5 took what I thought about JRPGs and then just flipped it. Like, you still get like the sexy anime girls, like the girl in the catsuit going like sticking her bum out at you all the time, and you still get like the silent protagonist that everybody's like, you're such a good listener and you understand me. But it played into it, and it was really good, and all the characters were like so easily identifiable. It's not just like there is the corner of hot harem girls. It was like, there is the corner of girls, and each one of them has an identifiable personality. And it upsets me that you haven't played it yet. But at the same time, kind of understand it. I can't get mad about it. I can get mad about it. I am mad about it. Play Persona 5.
Okay. Now, this was difficult for me because, to be fair, you've played a lot of games.
I do.
I mean, you played a lot of games.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. And in fact, you know what it is because it was only when talking to you the other day about it that I found out
it's that, isn't it?
what you hadn't played. And it's not the best one in the series. It's not one of the best games ever. It's Batman Arkham Knight. I mean, why have you not? What? Why have you not finished the series? Why have you played the first two and then gone, yeah, seems like a good place to just call it a day? That'd be like just ending watching Avengers after Infinity War. It would. And that's for those counting, that's the second Avengers reference I've made today. It would be. It's like big cliffhanger, here we go, Joker's dead. Oh, Harley's singing about the child. Way. That's it. What? And that was it. And it ends it so nicely, and it's got so much more to it that you just need to go play it. I mean, now. Go play it now.
I'll play it at some point. I mean, got too many JRPGs to play. Like, I have to dedicate, like, at least 100 hours to each of those. But I will play Arkham Knight. It will happen.
That sounds good. Sounds good.
So.
Right. Oh, this is me.
Yeah, it's our final select award.
Oh no. Okay. I think we've both picked the same game for this, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Right. I will. I'll tell you what. We do have another special award, so I don't mind if you want to host the final special award after I do this one.
Yeah. No,
okay.
That seems fair. Yeah, I can roll with that.
So, because we both agree with both of these awards.
Yeah.
So, this is a bad one. This is our worst game of the decade. Now, there have been a lot of terrible games over this decade. There have been a lot of games that have faded into obscurity. There have been a lot of games that have just released and people have gone, that's a game.
And there have even been games that haven't even released. PT!
That's true. But you can't award a game for not releasing. Anyway.
I want it so bad.
I suppose that would have been a crashed the hype train, really, wouldn't it? In fairness, no, that would have been stopped the hype train at the services and never gone on.
Yeah, the Southern Rail Award.
The replacement. Oh my God, the replacement Death Stranding service. So our worst game of the decade. And it can only be one thing, and if you are a fan of video games and you follow the video game news, it can only be Ride to Hell Retribution, and I don't even think we need to explain why. I just want to move on to something else. So there you go, Ride to Hell Retribution. Congratulations, you dog shite.
Just as a curiosity, what system did you play Ride to Hell on? Just out of curiosity.
I didn't buy it.
Did you not?
I did not buy it.
You lucky soul, I wasted
I've played
money
it,
on that
but
game.
I did not pay money for it.
So I played the PC version, and then as a curiosity and like a morbid curiosity, because apparently I wanted to waste money, I bought the PS3 version as well.
You paid for it twice?
No, I played it once, and then I paid for it the first time when I bought it on PS3.
Oh, I see.
I returned it shortly after, because, oh my fucking God. Like, if the PC version was clunky, the PS3 version was like riding a donkey with no legs.
And with that image...
So the final of our special awards, final award, is the Kingdom Hearts 3 award. This is the award for the game that was the most Kingdom Hearts 3-like game of the decade. There's a lot of games that we could have picked from on this list. I mean, like there was a lot of games that are most like Kingdom Hearts 3 out of this decade, and I'm obviously talking bullshit. We just wanted an excuse to give an award to Kingdom Hearts 3, so here it is. It's Kingdom Hearts 3. Fucking amazing game.
Oh wow, I didn't see that coming. How? Oh, that's controversial. Kingdom Hearts 3 winning the Kingdom Hearts 3 award. Oh wow. Oh no. I mean, it's just yeah, it just is. Here's a random clip of some Kingdom Hearts 3 gameplay. Doesn't look good.
It was so good. It was so good.
That sort of tides us over now. I mean, this video is going to be very long. We might have to do 2 parts.
That's not a bad shout. So yeah, we'll do it in 2 parts. So thank you, professionals,
Join us
for watching.
next time for more.
So join us next time for the games of the decade, our best games of each year in the decade. Thank you, professionals, for watching. As always, subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Like this video if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to our channel for more content. We release videos fairly regularly. And as always, we will see you next time. I can edit the end theme in, like...
Ah, that's how you do it.
Fuck you, editing!